Alright guys, how's it going? AtmosCube here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you some Football Manager 2013 news. Today Sports Interactive held a press conference to announce the new game, and they also mentioned some of the 900 features added to the new game. So today I'll be going over what they said in the press conference and some of my opinions to them. I will leave in the description the link to the press conference, and yeah, so let's start with no further delay. So the first thing Miles Jacobson says is he says they're genre-defining changes to the game. Now this catches your attention straight away. He mentions the network game, scouting and training systems. So yeah, I'll go into a little bit more depth later. But for the most part, I guess the two meatier subjects were the two new modes added in to the new game. So now when you load up the home screen for Football Manager 2013, there are going to be two more options contrary to the previous start a new network game and start a normal Football Manager career, whatever. The first one of these is FMC. The second one of these is Challenge Mode. FMC stands for Football Manager Classic. Now, Football Manager Classic is essentially a less time-consuming version of the game. It's a very simplistic version of the game. Its essence is the same, so it's for all Football Manager lovers. It's for those who, you know, sort of don't have time to deal with all the intricate stuff in the main game. So, for example, most of those things were passed on to other staff. Like, for example, training and team talks were passed on to your staff, among other things. Miles Jacobson also hinted that there'll be unlockable features in this mode, including increased transfer budget. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, I don't think I'd play it much, obviously, because I'm a big lover of all the intricate stuff myself. So it'll be something that I don't think I'd be able to do. Maybe I'd have a save on it, I guess, that I could, you know, always just flick back to whenever. But for the main part, I think I'd just stick to the normal game. But I would definitely give it a go. It'll be I think that'll be decent for like streams and stuff, or among other things. I think it'd be decent now and again. But yeah, that's really good. The second new mode they've added in is Challenge Mode, as I said. It was first introduced into Football Manager Handheld, so obviously I think Will might know it quite well. Personally, I've never played. I think I've played one Football Manager Handheld, and I've never played it since. I'm not a big fan, but let's not get into that. It's basically, obviously, it's what it says in the title, Challenge Mode. So he mentioned that you'll have half a season. Now, I'm not specifically sure whether this applies to only certain challenges or all the challenges, but he mentioned there's half a season to complete a challenge. For example, your team's gone half a season unbeaten, and the second half of the season you have to remain unbeaten in the league. So that's a challenge, for example, and I think this mode's got really, really good potential. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Absolutely brilliant. I can't wait for more news on it and some of the new challenges you can do on it. Hopefully they're really good challenges as well, so they're not repetitive, so like win this many games, win this many games, win this many games. Hopefully they're varied and very creative as well. So we'll see that obviously when the main game comes out, but until then we're just going to have to speculate again. Next up, he mentioned there are major changes to the 3D engine. Sorry, wrong thing. He mentioned it's going to be more realistic in terms of general ball physics, the way the ball moves in the air, on the floor. Player movement's going to be different. The stadiums are going to look different. He also mentioned they're going to be dramatic AI changes. So yeah, obviously the 3D engine, I've never really been a big fan of it. Until recently. I've been playing a little bit offline. As you know, I've been taking a little bit of a break, and when I've been playing it offline, I've been playing with the a 3D engine. It's not too bad, I guess. I'm looking forward to seeing what these improvements do to it, and obviously the more improvements, I'd assume it will take a more powerful computer, so I'm not sure. We'll see how things go with that. Obviously it's depending on other factors, you know, like the computer you use and all that kind of good stuff. So we'll see what changes they make and how it looks and stuff, but for now, I'm still a big fan of the 2D Classic, to be honest, but, you know, each their own. So the next thing they've introduced, or he mentioned, a revamp of staff and roles. Now, he mentioned there's going to be the introduction of Director of Football. That is fantastic. I was talking to some of the lads the other week about this, and we were discussing it, and we wanted this in the game, and I personally do as well. I think it's going to be fantastic. He said that the director of football will take care of contract negotiations if you choose, and that was an example, but I assume he could take care of transfer negotiations at the request of the board, like you could do in Football Manager 12, but we will have to see. 2012, sorry. Next up, he mentioned network games, and they will now have Steam functionality, which means it will be easier to connect with your friends and play Football Manager, and you'll be able to connect up in a network game a lot easier, which is fantastic. That means no more Hamachi, and you can do it straight through Steam, so fantastic. And he also mentioned, due to the Steam functionality, there'll be worldwide leaderboards for statistics. He didn't mention any of them, I don't think, but we'll find out in the future. There'll just be all the trivial stuff, you know, like most money spent on transfers, agent fees paid, career earnings, that kind of stuff. So, he mentioned there'll be a revamp of the loan, scouting, and training system. Now, those are the three of the most essential parts of the game: transfers, and also setting up your team and adding to your team as well. Obviously, loans, where you bring in a loan. I'm interested to see what they do with that, because that really intrigues me. I haven't got a clear view of what I think they're going to do with that, honestly. Again, neither with the scouting or the training. Obviously, scouting essential to knowing who you want to bring into your club and seeing if they're worthy or not. Training, obviously, developing all your players and making them into better footballers for the benefit of your team. So, be really interesting. Hopefully the training is more simplistic. To be honest with you, I don't really do training. I can't be bothered to be honest with you, but I hope it is a lot more realistic. Not realistic, what am I saying? A lot more simplistic, because I can't be asked to go through it. Plus, due to the resolution of my monitor, I can't actually see all the options for the training, so hopefully they make changes to that so they have like a scroll bar, so I'll be able to go down that as well, because some of the things I can't do with the resolution of my screen, especially when I play on windowed mode. Next up, he said they introduced tax rates for each country, which docks players' wages due to the tax in the country they're playing, and obviously there's different tax rates for different countries, and therefore more greedy players are going to be wanting higher contracts due to the fact that they know their wages will be docked because of the tax. So the higher the tax, I'd assume the more money they'd want. So it's got to be something you take in mind when you buy a player from abroad, whether he's getting more or less tax in the country. So yeah, that is fantastic. That was the main press conference that they did, the things that Mols Jacobson said on his own. At the end, they had a little bit of a Q&A, and Jacobson mentioned a few questions he was asked. When's the release date? He said there is no release date yet because they don't even know themselves. They said they're hoping to bring it out before Christmas, and they're confident of doing that. So am I, to be honest. Looking a little bit of the pattern of when they're being brought out, my prediction this year is October 26th. That's my personal release date when I think it might come out, and obviously the demo will come out 2 weeks before the release date. They've introduced the new EPPP scheme, the new youth system in English football, the Elite Player Performance Plan, which is the new youth system. I'm not too familiar with it, but it was voted in by Premier League clubs, and yeah, I'll be interested to see how that happens. I'd assume that have an effect on the way you bring players up from your youth system, where you buy them, and the way you get regens and stuff as well. So that'd be really interesting to see, and I think that would, alter your choices in terms of transfers and in the way that you bring players through your youth systems. He said there was an advance in media, which means he's added, which obviously means there's going to be more questions and stuff to it, and more surprise interviews, I'd assume. Added tone system to the media like they did last year for Team Talks. So yeah, that'll be that. Again, I hope it's not repetitive and tedious like it was this year. After a certain point, you just got bored and you had all the questions and it was just the same thing. So, with that in mind, I just hope that they improve that a little bit more. But then again, I probably won't do press conferences and stuff this year. And the last thing he said was there going to be more info and blogs coming up on this channel, the SI Games official channel. And it will be on here. So if you go over here and subscribe, then you'll be sure to get them in your sub box. That'll be fantastic. And yeah, so I think that is pretty much it from the press conference. If you want to watch it yourself, it's going to be in the description, so click that description and have a look at the video yourself. I thank you guys for watching. Please hit that like button. I will strive to bring you all the latest Football Manager 2013 news. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had a nice day, and I'll see you guys next time.